Welcome to Truth Beyond the Stereotypes, where truth isn't filtered to fit, it flows. The podcast where we unlearn expectations, break out outdated narratives, and step fully into who we are meant to be. I am Mia Rose, and this space is all about self trust, growth, accountability, and choosing alignment over approval. If you ever felt boxed in, misunderstood, or ready to outgrow beyond who the world tried to make you, this is a safe space, and this is for you. Perfection isn't an option here. I am speaking my truth from my personal experiences, how it was seen through my eyes and processed through my mind. I create from a place of love, alignment, and growth. Not having all of the answers, I have learned that my voice is activating and my energy gives others permission to rise beyond who they were told to be. I encourage them to question everything, to trust themselves, to stop asking for permission, and to start living in alignment with who they really are. Welcome back to Truth Beyond Stereotypes. This is episode 3, Honoring Your Emotions Without Losing Your Independence. I want to take a minute to shout out to all my supporters. I really didn't have a time frame or a schedule when it comes to posting different episodes. I basically going through life, and as certain topics apply to my life or just come to my mind, I'm jotting down different notes and bullet points so that I can create an episode and make sure I'm hitting all of the topics I want to speak about. And I greatly appreciate every last person who took the time out of their day to listen to episode 1 and 2. I truly appreciate everyone's feedback because this is a new experience for me. And I'm only going to get better. And the only way I can get better is by hearing the truth. So please make sure you like and comment and tell me what I can do better and what you like that I'm already doing. And I got a few comments about hearing the beeping in the background of one of my episodes. And listen, if that's not a sign of me being authentic, because I was not changing that battery in that smoke detector, but I made sure I did it before I started recording this episode. So shout out for the people that was like, girl, if you don't get that beeping out the background. I truly appreciate all of you guys. And let's go ahead and start number 3, episode 3. So we're going to get a little bit deeper when it comes to episode 3, because this conversation is about emotions and independence. It's really about something bigger. It's about the relationship between your masculine and your feminine energy. And whether you are a man or a woman, you carry both. But most of us was conditioned to rely only on one. So what happens? We either feel everything and lose ourselves in it, or shut everything down and lose connection completely. And neither one is balanced. So today, we're bringing those two parts of you back into an alignment. Understanding masculine energy versus feminine energy. Let's ground this in something real, not social media definitions. Your feminine energy is your internal world. It's where your emotions live. It's your intuition, your softness, your ability to connect, receive, and be present. Your masculine energy is your external structure. It's decision making, your boundaries, your direction, your discipline. One feels, one leads. Your feminine energy says, this is what I'm experiencing. Your masculine energy says, this is what I'm going to do with that. And if both of those are not working together, you're either drowned in emotion or you're disconnected from yourself completely. Now, this part is for my men. For a lot of men, we were taught how to master your masculine energy. Logic, control, providing, staying composed. But no one taught you how to safely experience your emotions. So when feelings come up, it's unfamiliar. And when stuff is unfamiliar, it's easier to avoid altogether. And for a lot of women, you were taught to exist in your feminine energy, to feel, to give, to nurture, to hold space, but not how to anchor yourself in your masculine energy, your boundaries, your standards, your self-leadership. So you end up overextending and underprotecting yourself. So when it comes to your masculine and your feminine energy, depending on your childhood experiences, that's actually going to determine which one you embody more. So for an example, I was raised around a whole bunch of independent women. Independent women who were educated, their careers was on point. They were very organized. But guess what they lacked? Emotion and connection. All of their love lives, garbage. All of their connections with their children, garbage. But every other area in their life, they were successful. But those two areas, because we were in our masculine energy. Now, a lot of us women who operate in our masculine energy is because we did not have that male protection. And I need you guys to understand that male protection is not just physically being there. It's the mental and emotional part as well. Now, let's talk about men. Men who are raised in an area where they are around a lot of females. And they tend to operate more in their feminine energy. But those are the same ones that we are so quick to label as gay. Because they are more soft or more emotional. So like I said, depending on your childhood experiences, that will determine what energy you operated out of the most. And since, like I said, I was in my masculine energy, when I got older, I had to learn about my feminine energy, and then I had to learn to become balanced between the two. I had to learn when to be more logical and when to be more emotional. So let's make this practical. When your feminine energy is unbalanced, it doesn't look like being emotional. It looks like you're holding on to people because of potential, ignoring what you see because of how you feel, over giving to maintain a connection, seeking reassurance instead of choosing yourself. Your emotions start to lead your life without direction. Now, on the other side, when your masculine energy is unbalanced, it doesn't look like being strong. It looks like emotional shutdown, avoiding connections and situations where you have to be more vulnerable, needing control to feel safe, pushing people away before they get too close. Your structure becomes your wall instead of your support. And here's the truth most people miss. Both put you in an energy of defense. If one says, if I hold on tighter, I won't lose anything. The other one says, if I don't attach, nothing can hurt me. But neither one of them are safe. They just feel familiar. And I was the one that used to hold on tighter so that I won't lose anything. And if you know a little bit about me and everything that I've been through, let me tell you, everything that I held on to tightly, I lost. I lost everything. And I tell people all the time, in order to save my soul, God had to break my heart. So I lost my grandmother the day before my birthday. So then I had my aunt and my husband at that time provide comfort for me. So then I lost my husband 2 years later. And then I had my aunt to provide comfort for me at that time. And then 2 years later, I lost my aunt. And when I tell you the mental and emotional breakdown that I had, I just felt alone. I didn't understand why those individuals that meant the most to me were taken. And it left me in a place where I felt like the little girl at times when I didn't have anyone. And what's crazy is a lot of people will be surprised about me feeling this way because I have a huge family on both sides, my mother's side and my father's side, especially up here in the Northern Virginia area. My family's huge. I have family everywhere, but I still felt alone. Still didn't have nobody to call. Still didn't have nobody to rescue me. And the individuals that I knew I could call, they weren't there. This is where everything changes. Balance is not about suppressing one side of you. It's about coming into balance with both. And it looks like this. Your feminine energy allows you to feel the emotion, but your masculine energy decides the standard. Your feminine energy says, that hurt me. Your masculine energy follows with, and because it hurt me, I'm not accepting that again. Your feminine energy creates the connection. Your masculine energy maintains. It maintains the respect. Your feminine energy opens your heart. Your masculine energy protects access to it. That's what self-trust looks like. So it should never be a time where you're creating habits or boundaries that prevents you from stop being loving. Like, for an example, it was never an issue with me being a loving, positive person. The issue was who I was being that way towards. Men, Balance might look like this: being able to say, I'm not okay right now. Without feelings like that, takes away from your strength. Because the truth is, a man who understands his emotions moves with more precision, not less. You're not losing control, you're gaining awareness. Expressing your emotions do not make you weak. They make you stronger. Women, balance will look like being able to say, this doesn't work for me, without over explaining, without guilt, without trying to soften the truth to keep someone comfortable. Because boundaries are not rejection, they are self respect in action. And let me tell you now, when I was younger, I operated out of my masculine energy. But once I got older and I started to develop connections, friendships, and romantic connections, that's when I started to be in my feminine energy without the balance of my masculine energy. Because I will overgive, overextend, allow over access to me without boundaries. And when you are a lover and a giver and you don't have boundaries, who do you think you attract? Takers, users. I will stop building who I am as a person to try to build up my partners. And by the time I got my partners to where I was exhausted. I was burnt out. I didn't even want to be with them anymore because I took so much of my time and energy to pour into them instead of myself, and I wasn't receiving it back because I was pouring it into someone who was not capable of giving it back. That's the definition of a ride or die, and you're going to keep dying every time. Keep pouring into objects, environment, and people that don't have the ability to pour back. Yep, you're going to die every time. And here's a simple way to practice this in real time. When something triggers you, pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling? That's your feminine energy. What does this require from me? That's your masculine energy. Not overreacting, not suppressing, but choosing a response that honors both. That's self-leadership. I remember I was growing up, and when my parents or an adult would ask me a question, if I took too long to respond, they would say, oh, you lying. And I would be so confused because, for one, let me tell y'all one thing I do. Sometimes I be moving so fast that I don't remember what I be doing. But sometimes if I give myself time to stop and think about it, okay, let me replay this in my head. And then I can give you an answer. But I wasn't taught that as a child. Man, let you take more than 5 seconds to respond to a question, they automatically saying you lying. And I used to be so confused. But now that I know the truth and I know the opposite, give yourself time to respond. And I'm actually proud that I'm able to do that now. And I don't feel guilty. I don't feel bad. Because what you're not going to do is gaslight me into giving you a response that's not my truth. But if you want my truth, you're going to wait. If you don't want my truth, you still going to wait. Because if it's a question where I have to sit and think and feel before I respond, guess what's going to happen? You gonna sit and wait. So I want you guys to understand that balance is what's important. And I gave you guys examples of a male that is more in his feminine energy. I gave you an example of a woman that's more in her masculine energy. But understand those roles can reverse and switch. Because you got some men that's not emotionally that's available. Those are those same men that we saw when we were younger, when they would start to cry, and all you would hear is, "You better be quiet. Boys don't cry. You ain't no sucker. Boys don't cry." And then on top of suppressing their emotions, we made sure that we have never put them in a place to even learn how to communicate their emotions. So that's two negatives right there. Even if a boy wanted to express his emotions, he still didn't know because they never provided a safe space for it. And that's the same thing that goes with women that are in their masculine energy. I didn't want to be in my masculine energy, but I didn't have a choice because my father was in and out of my life, and I didn't have not one positive male role model growing up. So I had to protect myself. My own mother wasn't even protecting me. And not to put the blame all on her, but if you think about it, she was only doing what she was taught. My mother was the youngest out of 12. Who protected her? So those are the generational cycles that we have to stop. And when it comes to my parenting now, I create balance. Because don't get me wrong, when it comes to furthering my education, maintaining my career, maintaining a clean house, and keeping everything organized, oh, my mother taught me that. 100%. But then I had to take it up a notch and provide my kids with the emotional and mental balance that I was never provided. So now my children are more balanced and well-rounded. And it's never too late, you guys, to start implementing these changes. It's never too late because a lot of this teaching and changing and knowledge did not come to me until after my husband passed away in 2016. So it was easier for me to start this new style of parenting with my daughter who was 3. But at that time, my boys were older. So in the same process of me unlearning, healing, releasing, and relearning, I had to go back and do that for my boys. So it's never too late to start. You were never meant to choose between being soft or being strong. You were meant to embody both. Because softness without structure would lose itself, and strength without emotion will isolate yourself. So the work is this: feel deeply, stand firmly, and lead yourself through both. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who's learning how to come back into balance with themselves. Make sure you like and leave a comment and tell me how you feel and your thoughts about this episode. If you have any other topics or questions you want to ask, put those in the comments as well. I appreciate all of you. And this is Truth Beyond Stereotypes.